I suppose we're going to continue in terms of, I guess, the good news, quote unquote. I don't know if this is good news. This might not be good news. This may be just a complete chaotic shit show of a mess or something. But Trump on Israel and Iran. Oh boy. So we all know what happened yesterday. Trump just randomly said, "There's a ceasefire now," and everyone else was just like, "There is no ceasefire. What are you fucking talking about? There is no ceasefire. Why are you saying this? This is very strange and very confusing." And everyone just was confused because old man Trump just randomly said there's a ceasefire because of like his autistic fixation. Apparently, there is now a ceasefire that's like holding. We'll get to that. And also, apparently, like the U.S., based off of intelligence reports, actually didn't destroy any of Iran's nuclear sites. Have done like basically no damage because, whatever. We'll get to it. But Trump is mad. He's saying "fuck" on television. Damn, he is not a happy man. I mean, we've talked about this before, but Trump's current fixation is he wants to try to make himself look like I'm a deal maker. I make deals. I make really good deals. I'm great at making fucking deals. I'm the best at making deals. I deal. I wheel. I feel. I deal. I'm so good at making deals. Even though, like, in terms of every supposed ceasefire deal with, Russia, Ukraine has fallen through completely. And also in terms of like all the talks with the new Iran nuclear deal that he was trying to establish, also all completely fell through. Same with the Houthis, those talks fell through. Same with the talks with Hamas, completely fucking fell through. But what do we got here? This was a point I think that was raised by Kyle Klinsky, which I thought was a really really good point, and I pretty much echoed that sentimentality 100%. During Trump's first term, he didn't really have any like major global conflicts, like nothing like significant or major to sort of like have to negotiate for, because again, like Trump is like figuring out that actually negotiating is pretty difficult. Like negotiating, compromising, and we're talking about a dude who's a fucking egotistical, megalomaniacal fucking dude, okay? He doesn't like compromising on really much of anything. So the fact that, this is what's happening, he's seemingly getting pissed and is starting to learn how difficult it actually is to negotiate and engage diplomatically is, looking bad. Because you would think to yourself, like, why doesn't he just try to do hard power instead of soft power, instead of diplomacy, just bomb the fuck out of them? He did try to bomb the fuck out of people, and it didn't fucking work. So he has to do diplomacy. And he's learning that that's actually really fucking hard. And it's not as effective as he thinks it is. So what do you got here?
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen.
This is incredible. Because he's a simp to Israel. Let's be honest here, because he's a simp to Benjamin Netanyahu. Because Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump have known each other for, years, for like decades at this point. They've known each other for a very, very long time. The fact that he is talking about this in this particular way is incredible, dude. He is not happy with just the sheer belligerence that Israel is engaging with. Like, he's not happy about this. So, again, like, woof. His fixation is being challenged. And honestly, like, he probably also feels embarrassed. Like, his ego is being challenged directly by the Israelis and not so much the Iranians. I don't think because the Iranians, what they want out of this ultimately is that, like, they want this to de-escalate and go back to nothing ever fucking happens, bros. Because they are the perennial nothing ever happens, bros sort of state. They want nothing to. They were totally fine with fucking nothing. Israel is the one who wants the war, obviously, because again, like I said before, with Benjamin Netanyahu, the recent failure of the Knesset vote that barely passed by 2 votes, barely passed, right? Which would have caused the collapse of the Knesset, which would have triggered elections. Benjamin Netanyahu is very, very unpopular right now. And more than likely, he would lose that election. He would not win that shit. It would be over for him. Quite literally, okay? And as a result, because as Benjamin Netanyahu was getting elected, and I think about 2022 was when he got like back to power as prime minister. There was corruption charges and a Supreme Court like case that was brought down on him because of those charges. Because it turns out he's an incredibly corrupt politician. Who would have thought? Crazy. So this is what's essentially going on there with Benjamin Netanyahu. It's just like it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good for our Holocaust denier in chief. Now that one of his biggest cheerleaders is now getting more and more pissed with him. I'm very curious to see like when Trump's just going to start deriding Netanyahu, saying like he also took me for a ride. I was also tricked by Benjamin Netanyahu. And like I guess like all the anti-Semitic like morons that are gonna start like pouring over the conspiracy theories or some shit. Whatever. Like, what else has our boy got to say?
I'm not happy with Israel. When I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
The funniest part about this is that it's not. This isn't a both sides issue. Who are the ones that are constantly doing the provocations all the time? It's Israel. Israel, with their constant bombing of all of their neighbors, they are an insane lunatic rogue state with nuclear fucking weapons. Again, like, North Korea is a fucking rogue state, quite literally, but even they don't fucking behave in this way in comparison to Israel. And they have the backing of, well, the world's sort of like a global fucking hegemon, right? Like, this is not a good look for Israel. This is going to be pretty bad if they lose the support of the U.S., even if it's like, I don't know, not tacitly, maybe not tacitly. Like, any form of like material support that Israel fucking loses is going to be really, really bad for them. But, Trump is he's an angry boy. He wanted to be like the autistic deal maker, so then people could worship him for being such a good fucking deal maker, and Israel is honestly getting in the fucking way for that. And he's not getting what he wants, so he's pissed. But also, like I said before, back during his first administration, the first term of his administration, he didn't have as complicated sort of geopolitical situations to take care of. It was mostly just ISIS in Syria, which everyone was in pretty much accordance with, to just be like, bomb the fuck out of them. Yeah, bomb the fuck out of them. That's easy. It's like, okay, we're gonna go and bomb the fuck out of them. Fuck it, whatever. And everyone's just like, okay, cool, whatever. And that's like about it. I guess you can also talk about the Kerch Strait incident and what's going on in like the separatist wars with like Ukraine, but that's like wasn't as big of a sort of geopolitical threat. That's like something can wave off as like internal affairs in the country, blah 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 kind of a deal. So that's not as big of a deal. So again, like, Trump learning firsthand that it's actually really difficult to negotiate. And he just walks off. Lovely. So obviously, to make matters worse for Trump, I believe there's been multiple intelligence briefings saying that no one knows where the Iran's enriched uranium is, which is currently at 60%. And like I talked about before, the reason why the U.S. and Iran were in constant communication with each other, saying, okay, here's what we're going to bomb, here's when we're going to bomb, here's how we're going to bomb, we're going to be doing this stuff, is more than likely to signal to the Iranians, because the Iranians also communicated with the U.S. saying like, okay, yeah, sure, that's fine, whatever. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do another symbolic attack, because they did a symbolic attack only on Al Udeid base, an air base within Qatar. They just launched 14 missiles at that air base in particular, because again, what does Iran want? Iran doesn't want a protracted, doesn't want like the U.S. anywhere near this because they know that, like, it'd be a whole protracted Afghanistan-esque situation, and Iran doesn't fucking want that. They want nothing to do with it. So that's pretty much the goal of the Iranians. And again, like, considering how much of an insane lunatic rogue state Israel is, it's perfectly reasonable for the Iranians to want to get a nuclear weapon in order to, well, try to combat that. Because, like, the fuck that. Like, Israel is absolutely insane. We don't want to deal with all this bullshit. So, fuck it. We're going to try to get a nuke in order to protect ourselves, including from the U.S. And they have 60% fissile material, right? Enough to make, like, a dirty bomb with. Maybe not enough to make, like, say, the sort of, like, necessary weapons-grade enriched uranium, right? Because of efficiency, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't require as much material to make the bomb. Yada, yada, yada. Kind of, you know, the whole, like, rigmarole, 9 yards about that. No one knows where that material is now, except, I guess, for the Iranians, which is a big security threat. Because now, guess what? With all, like, not only have billions of dollars have been spent on this effort by the Trump administration, it has endangered everyone else in the region because now nobody knows, including the IAEA Director Grossi. This is Rafael Grossi here saying, like, we don't know where the enriched uranium is. Even at 60% enrichment, you can still make dirty bombs with them, which are very, very fucking threatening, okay? So, quite literally, this is, like, I think the worst possible case scenario for as to how this completely played out for the Trump administration, because, again, they wanted to try to get a quick, easy victory, and it just didn't fucking work whatsoever. But, yeah, what does our boy Grossi have to say here?
I have to be very precise, Martha. I have to be very, very precise.
Of course.
We are the IAEA, so we are not speculating here. We do not have information of the whereabouts of this material. So this is why I'm asking.
We know that it's about 400 kilograms. Uranium is a very, very heavy substance. So from what I understand, it's in, like, it could be in, like, a big canister or, like, a couple of smaller canisters, and it's, like, I don't know, like the size of, like, a ball or some shit. It's pretty fucking small, right? Because of just how dense and how heavy uranium is as a material. So, again, not knowing where this material is it's pretty bad, guys. It's not good.
Making an assumption, which is not a speculative or pure speculation, because Iran officially told me we are going to be taking protective measures, which may or may not include moving around this material. So
right.
It is quite obvious you are asking me about.
Of course, based off of the warning that the U.S. gave to the Iranians, because like I've been saying earlier, what happens if the material is in the facilities that were bombed by the Americans? It can potentially hit the material, it can mix in with the dust, get up into the air currents and the airstreams, and start to spread around in the region. That would be a fucking disaster. And everyone would be starting to get irradiated. What would be probably the Iraqis first, perhaps even the Pakistanis. It could even potentially go up as far as Russia. That would be a complete, utter shit show. And the Americans would be the ones taking blame for all of this. We're talking about, like, you want to talk about fucking World War III? That's how it fucking can start, because of just how idiotic and belligerent mostly the Israelis have been fucking being here. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu wanted to start World War III, as always, for the express purpose of, not wanting to go to court. Very, very cool.
About it, that there is a question there. Where is this? So the way to ascertain that is to allow the inspection activity to resume. I have to be very
lovely. Meanwhile, our boy on Truth Social, he's been posting fake news. CNN, together with the failing New York Times, have teamed up in an attempt to deem one of the most successful military strike in history. Well, apparently not, because it did nothing to the nuclear program based off of what the intelligence reports are saying. The nuclear sites in Iran are destroyed. I mean, your intelligence agencies are saying the exact fucking opposite. So are they? I don't believe you. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public. Yeah, he's saying that it's been obliterated. That's like obviously complete fucking nonsense.
Well, it goes without saying that leaking that type of information, whatever the information, whatever side it comes out on, is outrageous. It's treasonous. So it ought to be investigated,
sure,
and whoever did it, whoever's responsible for it, should be held accountable. It could hurt lives in the future. Leaking is a completely unacceptable thing. But let me.
He was gonna say leaking shit. He was going to say leaking shit.
Give you, because I've read all the damage assessment reports from not just our government, but from other governments. And I'm not going to get into anything that's top secret, but let me tell you for sure what happened here. There are three distinct facilities in Iran that we were concerned with.
Right, Esfahan, Fordo, and again, that you messaged to the Iranians saying, like, we're going to be bombing these locations, because like I said before, if you bomb them, there's nuclear material in there. The dust's going to get shot up, and it's going to spread across the entirety of the region, and it's going to make everything worse. It would be a fucking disaster. Potentially the Russians could get irradiated, the Pakistanis could get irradiated, everyone in Iran would get fucking irradiated. Same with, could go as far as Jordan, could even go into Israel itself. It would be a disaster, quite literally.
Isfahan, which is a conversion facility. You cannot weaponize unless you have a...
So what was I... I was talking about basically, we know why they warned about, what's going on in... to the different, facilities they're striking. They don't want to kick up a bunch of nuclear dust, obviously. And also, Iran more than likely moved a lot of the necessary sensitive equipment out of these facilities, right? Unless they're, stupid idiot dummy heads or something. I don't know. Considering how Iran, broadly speaking, has been behaving throughout most geopolitical sort of situations, I suppose is the correct term, I highly doubt that Iran would be so reckless as to leave sensitive equipment necessary for continuing that uranium enrichment to just kind of get blown up by these giant-ass fucking bombs that the U.S. dropped on them, which is why, I think that all the intelligence reports are saying, there's been, hardly any damage. This has, basically done nothing. So, I mean, Trump's just gonna try to get a victory where they can and just, say a bunch of random fucking bullshit. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
What's called the conversion process at the beginning of enrichment, and then a conversion process to metallicize the material at the end of enrichment.
Sure, they can keep talking about that. It's probably not going to happen. 12-day war. Based on everything we've seen, I've seen it all. Our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons. What the fuck is this?
Bomb, bomb, Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb,
What the Okay, bro. Sure, man. Nice video, bro. Trump loves his AI music videos, I guess, or something. Yeah, he's just gonna post through it, right? What's this?
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes...
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Israel is still itching for war. I mean, again, like has been said earlier, apparently there has been a ceasefire negotiated and it's holding for now. But again, we all know about Israel's modus operandi right now with Benjamin Netanyahu. They want to just keep bombing people because, again, what does Benjamin Netanyahu want? He doesn't want to go to court for his corruption charges.
It's chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so
What
much
is this audio
chaos, so we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people, and they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear, but other than that, they should do it great.
The fact that it's frozen like this is so funny. A big, beautiful increase. Beautiful? Beautiful. He's just posting through it, dude. Just posting. This is how you know he is not happy. Because he is just posting a lot. We got the suck off brigade, of course, with Charlie Kirk. No nukes for Iran. No troops on the ground. No U.S. troops dead. No regime change. No regime change, dude. There was like literally a tweet where he was talking about, I don't know, it's a politically correct term, regime change. I don't know about it, folks. Let me tell you. And it's just like, okay, bro, yeah, he's not gonna do regime change in Iran. Totally. No war. Israel started the fucking war, but whatever. He himself is also calling this the fucking 12th Day War. Okay, bro. Yeah, Trump with a historic masterclass of what? Bumbling around like a buffoon? Okay, cool. Should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Again, the funniest fucking thing about this is that who gave the green light for the Israelis to go forward with the attack? It was Trump. He even admitted that he gave the fucking green light for the Israelis to attack. Yeah, like, it's come on, bro. Silly. Bro, he's even praising Jeb, bro. Bro, it's never been more over. The Republican Party seems like it's going to collapse soon. They're all coping. I don't know, honestly, because Marjorie Taylor Greene went back to, like, praising and sucking off Donald Trump, right? Like, all the, like, fringe MAGA people who are against this, they're fringe. I don't know if they're going to command the exact same sort of necessary gravitas in order to be able to pull enough of a coalition to make the party collapse. Like, I don't think so. Like, it's gonna it frayed. This was certainly a test, but like they went exactly back into, I don't know, like sucking Trump off mode. Like, I don't think they're gonna collapse because of this. Like, I do think that if Donald Trump lost in 2024, the Republican Party was absolutely going to collapse. Like, no, like, there's no reason, because Trump is a two-time fucking loser at that point, right? His brand is off and nobody fucking or like, not that nobody fucking likes him anymore, but the brand is bad and the vibes are completely off. It's just it doesn't look fucking good. And like, it would have been a shit show disaster for the Republican Party, because they don't really have another leader that's going to be able to take the mantle of fucking Donald Trump. I don't think so. We won't have the same command over the cult like he did. And so he's just fucking posting through it. Now I guess we understand why a bunch of like Trumpers are like blaming Biden. What Biden did to this country should never be forgotten, and they're like blaming Biden for Iran. Now I do think that Biden probably would have bombed Iran at the behest of Israel, because Biden is a complete cuck to Israel. I don't know if Kamala Harris would have. I'll be honest. That I don't know, right? I know a lot of people on the left are saying that Kamala Harris would have also bombed Iran, and that I'm not 100% on that one. I'll be honest. I'm not 100% on that one. It's one of those situations where I wouldn't be surprised if she did. I'd be like, oh, great, wonderful, fantastic. But she supported the JCPOA. I mean, so did Biden, I guess, also support. But that's because he was the vice president at the time, so of course he's going to go along with the JCPOA and anything that the president is doing. So, who knows if Biden actually fucking agreed with it and the tenets of the deal and stuff like that. I don't know. Like, this is like the one thing where I have like an ultimate question, and the problem is like Kamala Harris hasn't really like denounced any of Trump's actions. I tried looking into this. I'm just like, there's no evidence of it or anything. She hasn't said anything about like Trump is doing in Iran. So I don't know. Maybe she would have gone ahead with bombing of Iran. That I don't know. Like, that could go like either way, 50-50, right? Because I know there's a bunch of people saying like, oh, this wouldn't have happened if Kamala Harris was in office. I'm just like, are you sure? Are you sure? I don't know about that one. I'll be quite honest. That one, I don't know about that one. But again, still posting, still posting, what, $1 trillion? Wait, the United States is almost at $1 trillion. It's incredible. We're discussing, because there's the NATO summit going on, right? NATO summit's going on, right? Because he's trying to, like, make a bunch of people fucking get to 5% GDP in terms of military spending. Now, there's some that are pretty close to that, to be quite honest. Here's the funny thing, and there's, again, Bell the Fifth Column talked about this. Bell the Fifth Column, she herself also said that, yeah, not even the United States is at 5% spending on the fucking military. Because again, like, let's be honest here. It's really dishonest to say that the U.S. needs to spend 5%, like what, $1 trillion of about what their GDP is about 36 to 38 trillion dollars. That's about 3%. That's actually about as much as, well, a lot of other NATO countries. That's about 2% for NATO, for NATO. And it should be fairly obvious why, for example, Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are probably spending more. They are right next to the Russians. Poland, theoretically speaking, would be, one of the first countries of contact for the Russian military if they were to do a hypothetical invasion of, well, the European. Well, it'd be the Baltic states and Poland, right? Because they can move through Belarus and be able to invade the Baltic countries, right? So they have to spend a lot more money because they don't trust the Russians, obviously. And so I anticipate that Finland is also probably going to start catching up as well, because now they also share a huge border with the Russians. I mean, they're already at 2.4%, right? They're higher than most of the other countries here, because again, they don't trust the fucking goddamn Russians at all. I find it very surprising that Greece is at 3.8% or 3.08%. I guess they really just don't like the Turks that much. But again, like, here's the thing, like, these economies are way smaller than that of the U.S., so the U.S. can easily sort of, like, afford not to spend 5%. Like, I want you to, like, understand this for a second. 5% of about $36 trillion is about $1.8 trillion. It's about $2 trillion, okay? The exact number would be $1.8 trillion. That is a lot of fucking money. And what, if it was 38 trillion, it'd be 1.9 trillion. I'm going off on, like, a complete fucking tangent here, but, like, this is just, like, silly and ridiculous. But he's just going to keep posting, what, both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally. I don't believe you, because they started bombing each other immediately after your supposed ceasefire. And even the Iranians themselves said they received, like, nothing but a ceasefire proposal. Same with the Israelis. So, It was my great honor to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. He's still just posting through it. All the people that are, like, sucking him off. Very, very cool. Very good. He's not happy about this. Not happy. Oh, there's another Truth Social post about this. What the fuck is this? Now that we have made peace abroad, we must finish the job at home by passing the great big beautiful bill. Yeah, dude. Totally. Again, this is why it was purely a distraction for this fucking shit. Because what's the media talking about? All the stupid shit that's going on in Iran. And not about how dog shit this bill is. And getting the bill to my desk ASAP. It will be a historical precedent for the great people of the United States of America. As we begin the celebration of our country's 250th birthday, we are finally entering our golden age. Yeah, dude. Tax cuts for the rich that's going to significantly increase the debt and the deficit. Provide defunding to mostly rural hospitals in rural areas with the cuts to Medicaid that are being proposed that are going to mostly affect his fucking voters. Very, very good. Very cool. Going after SNAP, which is, again, mostly going to affect his voters. We love the lumpen proletariat, don't we? Which will bring unprecedented safety, security, and prosperity for all of our citizens. To my friends in the Senate, lock yourself in a room if you must. Don't go home and get the deal done this week. Work with the White House so they can pick it up and pass it immediately. Yeah, the Senate, the Senate has a lot of disagreements with what's in the bill. If the Senate rewrites the bill, it has to go back to the House for it to get approved by the House. And the House can even then themselves have potential disagreements with what the Senate also is proposing, the great big beautiful bill, and it could just be a complete fucking legislative quagmire. So that's cool. No one goes on vacation until it's done. Everyone most importantly, the American people will be much better off thanks to our work together. Make America great again. Yeah, dude, totally. Stupid AOC. Now calling for my impeachment. Yeah, the impeachment vote went through and it didn't go anywhere, which I guess was pretty much expected. So that's cool. I don't know he's just having a schizo post here. Who the fuck cares about any of this stuff? Bro, what the fuck is this? It's from Mark Rutte, with the current head of NATO. I think it's really funny how he's posting his Old man texts. It's very funny. Congratulations on, and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us all safer. Yeah, dude. That's just like complete fucking nonsense, but okay. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed onto 5%. The amount of like sane washing coddling that has to go on for this man is fucking incredible. Really. Like, safe travels to Majesty's dinner. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win. Sure, man. Again, 5% fucking GDP to be spent on the fucking military, where there's like no war that's going on and the Europeans are probably not really going to be threatened overall, is just insane. Like, it's very, very silly. Now he's going after Thomas Massie because Thomas Massie's just like, no, fuck this shit. It's so fucking funny. But anywho, like, some quick updates. So I guess the ceasefire, the truce that I guess, I don't know, was there any changes to it or something? I have no idea. But like, apparently the ceasefire is actually holding. What the who the fuck knows what exactly is going on with this shit? What do we got here? The ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by U.S. President Donald Trump appears to be holding despite an Iranian missile attack and an Israeli assault on Tehran after the truce came into effect. They gave each other some little love taps. Very cool. White House refutes intelligence reports that U.S. bombings of Iran's nuclear sites did not completely destroy the facilities and only set the program back by a few months. Well, so much for sending it back and completely destroying it. I do sleep, but I tend to sleep very, very late because I just edit late into the night. My sleep schedule is completely fucked. I'll be quite honest. What, Israeli media sources saying Iran's nuclear program not obliterated, so that's cool. The Israeli Prime Minister is touting this absolute victory over the Iranians, saying that it has completely destroyed their nuclear capabilities, of which there is no evidence. So I guess Israel's also joining in on the cope. They destroyed an arsenal of ballistic missiles that the Iranians have, and Netanyahu said said was there to destroy Israel. Sure, man, totally. But some officials speaking anonymously to Israeli media have said that the Israeli and American strikes on those nuclear facilities, while they degraded the nuclear program, it has not been totally obliterated. Again, like I said earlier, the U.S. and the Iranians have communicated with one another saying, like, dude, like, it's not fucking happening. Like, they literally said, like, bro, here's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to bomb these facilities specifically. Iran had an opportunity to move the fissile material out of those facilities, along with potentially very, very important equipment, to continue enriching that uranium, quite honestly, and whoa crazy, as a result, all the US probably accomplished was just bombing some random empty facilities. That's it. And we know why they fucking did that. Let's be quite honest. They don't want to kick up a bunch of dust into the air and spread it all over the Middle East, into Russia, into Georgia, into Turkey potentially, Pakistan. All these different places would have probably gone irradiated because of those bombings. So, you know, that's cool. Additionally, Netanyahu says along with his military, they are now shifting gears toward Gaza. Time to keep bombing Palestinians. War in Gaza is still ongoing. During the 12 days Israel was at war, and nearly 860 Palestinians were killed. Oh, yeah, this was a big thing that was, like, I don't know, people were, like, stirring up a drama about, was in, like, I think, like, I don't know, Schumer was, like, sawing out over these postponements of briefings because, again, the Trump administration didn't let the Democrats know what was going on or something, and they're, like, sawing the fuck out. And the only people that knew what the fuck was going on was, like, Republicans. As I've said before, like, the attacks were... No, like, the Democrats were notified of the fucking attacks as the attack was going out, which I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, illegal and that's not allowed, but whatever. When has legality ever fucking stopped these fucking lunatics? Postpone classified briefings about Iran for members of the House and Senate. In the House, as lawmakers continue to question the legality of the U.S. attacks on an Iranian nuclear site. Sure, yeah, questioning. Okay. I mean, They're correct to question it. It is just illegal, so that's cool. The AP, citing multiple informed sources, reported that the Senate briefing has been rescheduled for Thursday so that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio can attend. Speaker Mike Johnson said the House briefing has been pushed back to Friday. Great. Dem slanted the delay, because who the fuck knows what could happen during that time? Just complete random shit. So, that's cool. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer said it is outrageous that the administration postponed the briefings. There's a legal obligation for the administration to inform Congress about precisely what is happening, Schumer said. What are they afraid of? Why won't they engage Congress in the critical details? I don't know, because they don't want you to know anything because they hate you, and they think you're weak and pathetic, and you're not going to do anything about it. So, that's cool. Congressman Pete Aguilar, chair of the House Democratic Caucus, meanwhile, said that legislators need evidence, we need details, and we need to know them now. Sure, man. Yeah, we just looked at this. Talk about Rafael Grossi on Fox News, saying he doesn't know where the fucking shit is. People dying. Oh boy, BRICS. The famed anti-imperialist BRICS. Sure, man. Battle of victory narratives continue between Israel and Iran. Asina Azadi, director of Middle East Studies at George Washington University, saying that the Israelis are claiming victory. Okay, cool, whatever. Operations, ceasefire is holding. Don't care about NPT. Oil slides, stocks rise as Israel-Iran ceasefire holds. So I guess the stocks are back up. Very cool, very good. The Trump envoys insisting that they destroyed the nuclear facilities. Again, we have no evidence for that. Very cool. Right, the House drops the effort to impeach. So, what? It was like not even fucking close. So that's cool. Public's resilience, very cool. Terangals, the fuck is that? Sure. Videos show extensive damage to Iran's Evin prison after Israeli attacks. Yeah, the Israelis decided to randomly attack a prison, I guess. It's like a state prison, basically. So a bunch of people got killed in a prison bombing. Very cool. In a tense call, Trump reportedly told Netanyahu to tone it down on Iran attacks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is touting this as a huge victory for Israel, saying they've achieved a lot of what they wanted to do. Sure. Or what they wanted. So I guess Israel's also trying to see like a, what? They're also trying to see like a way out and be done with this, maybe? I doubt it personally. Because again, like I've been saying before, Israel's a rogue state. Can't be trusted. They just do idiotic, random, belligerent bullshit all the fucking time. So again, nah. Can you trust anything that the Israelis are up to? No. He also said there is still work that needs to be done in Iran, but for now, the job is over. Main component of that being depleting Iran's nuclear capabilities and destroying arsenals of ballistic vessels. Sure. However, there are some reports within Israeli media that say Israeli officials, including the premier himself, were taken by surprise at U.S. Donald Trump's president saying that he was unhappy with Israel. Yeah, because again, they keep ruining his chances to try to, I don't know, have people build gold statues of him. Like, quite literally. That they need to turn around planes and continue and not continue on with their aggression on Iran, that they need to tone it down, and that he said that he would be the one to do that. There was a tense call between Netanyahu and the U.S. president in which American officials really emphasized the fact that the ceasefire needs to remain in place. Killing scientists, 99% of Israelis believe the attack on Iran was inevitable. Sure. More killing of Palestinians, because of course. Drones intercepted from Iran, launched before ceasefire started. Okay. I don't think there's really much else to really look at, right? Meets with Trump, welcomes Iran-Israel truce. Cool. Right? Recap of recent developments. Ceasefire appears to be holding. This comes after he scolded both sides, even though, like, honestly, Israel's the one who fucking escalated everything, as always. But sure, also scold the Iranians. Condemned the attack on the Al-Uyaid base. Says the military focus is now they're going to go back with the genocide. Very cool. U.S. media is reporting the U.S. bombings of Iran's nuclear sites did not completely destroy the facilities, only set the program back by a few months. The White House says the assessment is flat out wrong. Okay, cool. So again, I don't think there's really anything that's going on. Talks with Iran are promising. Cool. So, I don't know. Nothing really happens, bros. Nothing ever happens, bros. I think we're back to being on the nothing ever fucking happens, bros train. Very cool. Very good. We love that. We love that, folks. So, basic summary. There's been no evidence to say that the capabilities have been completely obliterated. So, bunch of poppycock and cope from the Trump administration on that one. Benjamin Netanyahu's going to go back to genociding Palestinians because, again, he needs to keep the war cabinet going for as long as possible. Trump is really pissed that doing foreign policy and geopolitics is actually very, very difficult, and it's not as easy as just saying forehead, 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 because he has complicated geopolitical situations he needs to sort out, and him and his team are filled with a bunch of sycophantic morons and idiots who are completely out of their depth and potentially tackling these issues. And people have no idea where the Iranian enriched material is. So basically, with Trump's idiotic fucking belligerence and how stupid it fucking was, it only made everyone more unsafe in the region, and it was just a complete time of energy and resources. I think that's a perfectly accurate summary for us to what's going on. And more than likely, Israel is probably going to go back to bombing the Iranians or some shit. If I know Israel about as well as I think I know Israel. So, yeah, great, fantastic. This was just a, complete waste of time. Very fantastic, excellent. So, good job, Israel, in wasting everyone's time. Good job, Trump, in making, going 0 for 7 at this point in terms of making a deal with Iran. All because you're upset that Obama had his signature on the deal with Iran instead of yours. And, good job to Iran for, weathering the storm. I really don't have anything to deride Iran with this sort of, bit I'm going with. Besides, fuck Israel and fuck the United States for doing this complete idiotic fucking bullshit. Yeah, I don't know. Not really much else to say here besides, well,